Can you believe it? The West Virginia Mountaineers beat another top 10 team, and they did it for Jerry freaking West. Zeke from Cabin Creek.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia. Man, they did it again. Can you guys believe the way that game turned out? I mean, it was a slugfest. The lid was on the rim for most of the game until the last 8 minutes. I mean, what else can you say about Javon Small? He's the best guard in college basketball. There can be no more debate. What he's doing right now is, first of all, he's putting himself into the second round, first round conversation as a draft pick. That's just number one. He's in the National Player of the Year conversation at this point. The Big 12, maybe it's the SEC this year, but certainly one of the two best conferences in college basketball. And he's the best player in it. I don't care what anybody says anymore. He continues to do it week after week after week, game after game after game. It's incredible. And especially with what we have on this roster, we play tough defense. We are tougher than our opponents a lot of the time, but it's not like the team we went up against today was the tough team. They were the bully on the block, and we bullied them right off the block. 64-57, West Virginia wins this one behind Javon Small on 27 points and in a second half explosion where he was splitting defenders, making incredible shots, step back threes from ridiculous range. He's certainly the best. He could go down as one of the two or three best players in West Virginia history in a season. Now, obviously, he would need to do this over a career to stack up with Jerry or anybody like that. But how about Jerry West and the family on the sidelines? I'm so happy that this happened for them. I'm so happy. They deserved it, man. Over there on the sideline, this was about Jerry. This was about them. And I'll be damned if we didn't get that win, man. There's just something about the mystique of Jerry West and what he brings to the table. And let's be honest, too, this was a lot for our guys to handle, in my opinion. You're putting a lot of pressure on them. They wore the Jerry West jerseys tonight. And look, these guys, they may feel the pressure, but they know they're not pipes, right? Like, these guys are made out of steel. They're not made out of PVC. Like, these guys are super tough, in your face. And look how many times they turned Iowa State over. I mean, we were up 5, we were up 6 there at the end, and we just kept turning them over. Eduardo Andre, our center, stripped the ball, drove it down the floor, hit a Euro step, and got an N1. When does that happen? Incredible performance on Jerry West Appreciation Night. And I couldn't be happier, man, because this was the Javon Small show. Amani Hansberry chipped in with a couple of big shots. Jonathan Powell hit a couple shots. But outside of that, it was now on defense. Andre, Javon Small, Toby Okani played a part, but Sincere Harris was so good tonight on defense. He locked it down today on defense. 7 guys rotated in for West Virginia today. And Iowa State only played 8. So they didn't go the route of what we've seen other teams do, which is throw 11 or 12 bodies at West Virginia and try to get our guys in foul trouble, that kind of thing. Altenberger played their game, right? And decided they were going to beat us how they beaten everybody. And they lost their streak. 12 straight games now broken by the West Virginia Mountaineers. A top 2 win. So this is the 4th top 10 win of the college basketball season for these Mountaineers. An incredible resume builder. And let's just talk about Darren DeVries for a second. So far this year in head-to-head battles, he's outcoached Bill Self, Tommy Lloyd, Mark Few, add Otzelberger to that today, completely outcoached him. Whenever he made the move to move Javon Small off the ball in the second half, and he waited until late in the second half to do this, it was a close game. He kept resting Javon. This was such a beautiful coaching performance. Listen to what he did here, man. And I understand a lot of you guys probably know what he did, but I want to explain it. So Javon Small gets moved off the ball, the best point guard in the league right now. It's best scoring guard for sure. And we give Yesufu guard duties, which, by the way, he made a big bucket too when he drove to the rack. So what that allows Javon to do, number one, it allows him to get rest because he's not having to beat the press up the floor every single time. That's number one. Then you give it to him, the shot clock's late. It's late in the shot clock. But guess what? Javon Small is one of the biggest bucket getters in all of college basketball, and clutch at that. He's extremely clutch. One of the more clutch players I've seen. Similar to, I put him in the same category as far as clutch goes as, what's a good comparison? He's got a lot of similarity to Dwayne Wade, the way he's very patient, the way he always gets guys off balance. He's really under control all the time. He does a lot of things out of the triple threat. So in the triple threat just means when you hold the ball like this and you're using your pivot foot. But what he does is he uses his pivot foot in multiple different ways to get different techniques off with his footwork to, whether like that spin move we saw earlier, or whether it's a jab step, or whether it's moving the ball around and throwing a pass, just moving eyes, changing eye level, different things like that, similar to baseball. I was trying to think, in West Virginia history, who was a guy that was extremely clutch, that was just Mr. Big Shot for us. There have been a few throughout our history. I'm not really sure who the best one to pick is, to be honest, because there's been so many. Maybe Pittsnoggle is a good comparison as far as just big shots. Like Javon Small does an incredible job just late in the clock hitting these big shots. So anyway, he moves Javon Small off the ball, which allowed him to get rest and allowed him to attack when the shot clock was winding down. Keep in mind, he only had 13 points at about 6 or 7 minutes to go. I don't know what he did over the last 6-7 minutes, but it was like 15 points probably, over the last 6-7 minutes of the game. So he crushed it, obviously. But moving him off the ball helped. And then the other thing that he did was, because Toby Okani was being bullied inside, Iowa State was using that mismatch to their advantage. Andre and Amani Hansberry enter the fray together for one of the first times all year. So now you've got a legitimate 6'10" and 6'8" guy on the block, which is something we don't have a lot. But the thing is these aren't your average, in my opinion, bigs. First of all, Eduardo Andre is blossoming into a great distributor of the basketball. If you give him the ball, he throws really great passes. He's an incredible defender, as we can see, and he's turned into a very good rebounder. And then Amani Hansberry, who is more of your stretch four, hit a couple big shots tonight, obviously. But he's much more difficult to score over on the block than Toby Okani. Those two coaching decisions won this basketball game for Darren DeVries. And there were more than just that. Certain calls he called, certain ways he got people the ball. Like the play where Joseph Yesufu with, what was that? I think it was a tie ball game. We went up 2. This was in the last 5 minutes or 8 minutes. That was a called play for Joseph Yesufu. So, like, there's different things that DeVries did. And you have to give guys the chance. You have to give them a ball, the ball to make a play, right? And that's out of the last 3 games, that's Yesufu driving to the rack and doing it big. Some people I was in a group chat with is giving Yesufu a little bit of crap, man, but I think he's extremely valuable to this team because what he adds from a ball handling aspect, he's got big time game experience to where KJ's still getting it. So I'm all about it, man. I think, going forward, I'm all for Yesufu getting more playing time. Up next on Locked On West Virginia, what are we seeing here? Because obviously this team is now almost a lock to make the tournament. They would have to crash and burn not to make the tournament with the wins that they have. 4 top 10 wins. You can win 18 games with that, and you're in. It's not even a question. But how far can this team go, and how many wins can they get now that they've done this? Because I don't think anybody expected them to win this game. I certainly didn't. Let's talk about that next. This is Locked On West Virginia. Stick around. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is brought to you by Prize Picks. I love Prize Picks. The place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members, billions in winnings. Prize Picks has changed the game of daily fantasy sports. Whether it's the playoffs or regular season, Prize Picks has made it easier than ever to win big while enjoying all the football action. Now, it is playoff time, and there's no better chance or way to get on the action than with Prize Picks. Here's how it works. You simply pick more or less on at least 2 players. And if your pick's it, you win up to 1,000 times your cash. That's right. 1,000 times your money. I'm all about the hot takes this season. And this week on Prize Picks, I'm looking at Lamar Jackson for more than 250 passing yards to beat Kuz's Buffalo Bills, and Travis Kelce for more than 70 yards. It's a fun way to predict and easy to play. Plus, Prize Picks Flex Play, you can still double your money even if your picks don't hit. And with the app, you can get your winnings fast, sometimes in as little as 15 minutes. Get ready to run your game this football season. Are you? Well, download the app with right now. Use code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50. It's instantly after you play that first $5 lineup, $50 for just playing the game. Don't wait. Take your game to the next level with Prize Picks. That's Prize Picks. Run your game. Zeke from Cabin Creek, the great Jerry West, the logo. That's what we know him as, but we just know him as one of us. One of us. One of us. Jerry West, hats off to you, man. I obviously a big fan and so sad to see him gone. And I think, what he means to us, the statues out there, this was huge for us. And I will always and forever love Jerry West and everything he meant to us. But it's segment 2. Let's crack a do and let's talk about it. The West Virginia Mountaineers are more than a playoff contender at this point in time, or tournament contender, sorry. I just got done reading the thing about the playoffs. I think this West Virginia team, because of the matchup, because of the defense, because of the intensity, because of the coaching, and if they get the right venues, especially, if this team gets the venues where West Virginia fans can make it force to where there's some energy in the room, this team feeds off energy. That's obvious. You start to look at the schedule and the way it works out for this team, and you start to see 20, 22, 23, 24, maybe 25 wins. Like, what are we talking about here? And if they do get to that level, are we talking about a Final Four team if they get the right matchups? There are some teams we just don't want to see, like Arizona without Tucker. Like, I think teams like Arizona that are just so big, or teams like, I think, Arizona is really the best one that we played so far. Pitt is another one with just a bunch of guards that can hit the three. That's another team. Any team that can stretch us out and hit a bunch of threes, or any team that has huge players inside, or teams we want to stay away from, like Duke. So let's look at this schedule really quick from West Virginia and break down now, after we see where we are now, as this team is 13-4, which is far and beyond away where we thought we were going to be. We're going to be ranked again. That's for dang sure. Although we didn't beat Houston, that was a drubbing. Maybe Houston's a better example, a team that's better at defense than we are, like these elite defensive teams. So now we got Arizona State at home. We got Kansas State on the road. Those should be 2 wins. We're better than both of those teams. We could let down in one of those. Absolutely. I have a lot of respect for Jerome Tang and company and Arizona State. As far as I can tell, has played well at times this year. They're 10-7 though, so it's not like they're beating world beaters. But back to the Mountaineers though. So you got to figure that West Virginia wins the next two games over a 10-7 Arizona State team and a 7-10 Kansas State team. Last I looked, I think they're 7-10. So, okay, that means you're 14, 15 games. Then you got Houston at home, a little bit of get backs. I think that game will be closer, maybe down to the last 4 minutes. Can West Virginia pull up another top 10 win there? Because then you're starting to talk about really high seeding if you win that one. Because the next 5 games, guys, are, dare I say, we're favored in those next 5 games. Watch this. If West Virginia is probably going to beat, if you're just asking me objectively, Arizona State, who's 10-7, Kansas State, who's 7-10. That gives you 15 wins. Let's say you pull up an upset against Houston. Another top 10 win comes to Morgantown and Falls. You saw how difficult it is to win there, and you're talking about 16 wins now. Then you go on a run of teams you should beat. Cincinnati, you should beat them on the road, although not easy. TCU on the road. Is TCU a walk in the park? I wouldn't call them that, but I mean, you look at their record, they're 9-7. Absolutely, we should beat them. I mean, look, we're going to slip up on some of these that I think will win, obviously. But let's just, if it's on paper right now, we should beat them, right? So you're talking about, okay, 13 wins today, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I think we can beat Utah. That's 19. BYU we should be able to beat. That's 20. Baylor is ranked 25th. We'll be ranked higher than them by then. That's a team that can beat us, though. Let's say lose one. That's 20-5. Then you're talking about Cincinnati again. Let's give us another random loss. 20-6. There's Texas Tech, who just beat, Kansas, I believe, and what's their record right now? They are 13-4. Let's say we have one more loss there just to kind of balance things out, because I don't know where these losses are going to come. I just know they're probably going to come some. That's 20-7, right? And I'm being pretty generous here. I would just give us 2 losses in a row. I'm not saying it's going to happen exactly like this. Then you got TCU at home. That's 21-7. There's BYU 22-7. Utah 23-7. UCF 24-7. Tell me where I'm crazy. And you can flip-flop any of these losses anywhere. That's if I add 3 more losses to the resume. If you look at this objectively on paper, we don't have Kansas again. The Big 12's down this year. Kansas State isn't what it usually is. We don't play Oklahoma State again. We don't play Iowa State again. We play Houston again. We dodge all these second half of the season bullets. We can be in the Big 12 race, especially if we only lose 1 or 2 more games. We'll be right in it. And we're talking about, like I said, what I just get to 24 wins. If we pull an upset or 2, if we go on a big run, we could be talking about a number 2 seed, guys. Possibly pie in the sky if we win out, number 1, right? Which is not going to happen. I would have never guessed I was going to be here. Now, we'll probably fall in that 21 to 24 range, right? Probably, unless, here's the thing that could throw us off. Any injury, name an injury, we're in bad shape. Unless it's to, Jake Auer or somebody like that. I'm no offense to them, but we're at our limit. We can't accept any more injuries, none, especially to Javon Small, or a guy like Andre. These are all so we're so stretched thin. We just got to pray that if it's an injury, it's for 1 game or something. I would have never guessed that we would be here, but here we are. The West Virginia Mountaineers are truly, truly shocking the world right now. Give Darren DeVries a contract extension. I've seen enough. This is year 1. If somebody's going to try to poach him from us, guys, let's just get that. Let's go ahead and admit that right now. Somebody's going to try to poach Darren DeVries from us. I can promise you. 4 top 10 wins in season 1. And the easiest time for somebody to get taken, it's kind of like Dawn Plitzowite, who went to Minnesota after her first year at West Virginia. We got lucky. We got Mark Kellogg, who's better. But it doesn't always fall that way. So the easiest time to move on is after year 1. Iowa's in a lot of trouble right now. Yes, West Virginia's a better job, but Iowa is home. And I've been told by others that, I believe that Coach and Tucker have missed their family. So it's not out of this realm of possibility. They're big family people. I don't know this for sure. Nobody inside the family is telling me, but I'm just saying I've spoken to people that know a little bit, and they do miss their family. So I don't want it to happen, but I just worry about it. I do. And look, 2, I think you give him a big extension, you make it almost nigh impossible for somebody to get him out of here without paying a bunch of money. Maybe they'll move on to their next guy. I'm serious. And look, maybe you make a mistake. Maybe it's a big mistake like with Jimbo in Texas A&M. But I don't think so. I am so sold on Darren DeVries that I think he could be the best coach in the Big 12 at some point in time. You look at we've got 3 McDonald's All-Americans coming in next year. We've never had that. Ever. Chester Frazier's a big part of that, by the way. We may lose him as well. That's another thing. Chester Frazier, might want to say goodbye to him too, because what we're doing right now, this whole staff is going to get recognition. And I don't know how the year is going to finish. If I had my druthers, I guess we would finish it loudly but quietly, but still be really good if that's possible so nobody notices. But seriously, in all seriousness, I think, I know Darren DeVries has stayed a long time wherever he's been, but this is a worry for me. Let's talk a little bit more about that on the other side of the break. This is Locked On West Virginia. Stick around. We'll be right back. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is brought to you by FanDuel. For the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes NFL playoffs even more exciting. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win that first bet. That's $300 to keep the action going. The FanDuel app is easy to navigate, and the variety of bets keep every game exciting. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around for your winnings here. Whether you're betting on your favorite team or just looking to add some excitement to the playoffs, FanDuel has you covered. Just visit FanDuel.com to join and get started with $300 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. All right, it's segment 3. I have no Dr. P. That's fine. So let's just talk about this too really quick. We're doing this with almost nobody, right? You looking up and down this scorecard here. It's shocking to me. Okay, let me name everybody besides Javon Small. This is what everybody's stat line besides Javon Small. 9 minutes, KJ Tanner obviously not 100% back yet. 1 assist. Joseph Yesfood, 21 minutes, he had 4 points. Amani Hansberry had 12 points. That's good. 6 rebounds in 22 minutes. Sincere Harris, 2 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. Toby Okani, 5 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Jonathan Powell, 9 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Eduardo Andre, 5 points and 6 rebounds in 19 minutes. Then you've got Javon Small, 27 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, couple steals, drew a lot of fouls, plays elite defense. I'm not saying these guys don't matter. They do. They matter on the defensive end more than anything. But I think we need Amani to keep at it. Obviously, we'll take 12 points from Amani. Love to see him right around 15, though, just to balance it out a little better. You know, he was averaging 14 a game there until he got hurt. And then I think the ankle really affected him. So let's see if we can get Amani Hansberry back to balance out Javon Small, along with Jonathan Powell hitting threes like he does, because we can't continue on like this with Javon, obviously. Now, I love that we can give him more rest because Yesufu is back and Tenor will be back even more coming up. But we're going to have to develop some other ways to get more guys buckets. Toby Okani, man, you know, he has the ability to be such a better scorer. I just wish he would do it. It seems like he's struggling a little bit on the offensive end. He helps on defense, don't get me wrong. He's a great defensive player. But at the end of the day, we are winning these games, and it doesn't matter how, but we're doing it with elite defense, top 15 defense. The biggest problem is in the Big 12, we play defenses that are better than us quite a bit, 2 or 3 times, you know, this year already. So I'm proud of this team, though. For Jerry, this one was for Jerry from Zeke from Cabin Creek, as we like to call him, and the logo is up in the sky looking down, or like if I put my thumbnail, he's looking up at West Virginia. You know, I'm assuming he's so proud, and his wife looks so young tonight, by the way. So they look so happy, and I'm so happy that we got this win for them. They deserve it. So happy. It just makes my whole weekend, guys. So I'm going to celebrate with a double do, if you know South Park. Diet double do. No, I'm just kidding. I'll be honest, too. West Virginia could win this thing, could win out. That's a true possibility. Teams get really hot, right? But I do think we'll have a couple losses. What would their record be? 26-4 if they won out? That'd be incredible. That would be almost impossible to imagine. I don't think that's going to happen. But like, let's see. How many games do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see. I lost track there. My mouse is jumping around here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 conference games left, right? But you got Utah, UCF, BYU, TCU, Cincinnati, BYU twice. So you got BYU twice, Utah twice. That's insane. UCF once and TCU twice left. So in all reality, like, we've got one of the easiest schedules remaining once we get through this stretch, because we looked at it before the year and we said, okay, what's the stretch West Virginia is going to struggle the most in? It starts with Kansas, right? We had Kansas, then Arizona, then we had Colorado, who was playing really well before a couple weeks early in the season, then Houston, then Iowa State, and then Kansas State was coming up right after that. None of those teams have been as good as we thought. So it's a real possibility that West Virginia wins. Let's say they go 12-2 down the stretch even. That's 25 wins. You know, like, can they go 10-4 down the stretch? That's 23 wins. It's absolutely possible. The 23 wins gives you a top 4 seed with the resume we have, maybe top 3 seed. So it's crazy, guys. So I'm excited. You should be excited. Not much else to say on this one. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm so happy about everything, and glad we got it for Jerry. Other than that, not a lot else to talk about. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen. For being part of the Locked On Podcast Network, we talk about your team every day. Don't forget, guys, Locked On Big 12, Drake Toll leads the conversation in conference realignment, and he pulls no punches when it comes to talking about the Big 12. Make sure you check him out. I guess I didn't change my background to the right one, did I? I just noticed that. I had it. I had it in there. Another top 10 win, small player of the year. Oh, yeah, I think I spoke about that for a minute, but certainly I think Javon Small could be that player of the year type player. So keep watching for that too. If we can keep going like this every single week, hey, Mike, I did crack a do. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Thanks for joining. Keep coming back. Hit that subscribe button for Locked On West Virginia. I'll be here tomorrow as well. Talk about our transfers. Talk about our depth chart. People wanted me to do a depth chart and put who my starters are the way things are now. So be looking for that tomorrow. Until then, guys, have a great weekend. Let's go Mountaineers. Rest in peace, Jerry West. And I'm out of here.